All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, and Will Kane. Not JK.
You tripping.
No, play it. No. Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Table Podcast. With your hostess that knows the mostest, Funky Cole Medina, me, and Coach Jay Jacks. We got our special host today, or special guest, sorry. But we can call triple co-host Lou Gaddis. Give it up for Lou, everybody. Give it up for Lou.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. No problem. So give us a little background about you, how you know me, how you know Coach. Let the people know.
So I grew up right here in Portland, Maine. If you know Coach Jay, he started over at Deering. That's when I first heard of him. I was over at Portland playing sports there. He's over at Deering. You know, that Portland-Deering rival is crazy out here. So I hated Deering, but I loved him though. I didn't meet him until I met him the year I think he left, but I always had respect for him. I always said that if I was playing football, I'd be over at Deering, but I was at Portland playing basketball. But I met Coach Jay a couple years after that, playing AAU for Blue Wave, and his sons play the organization for a little bit. I met them there. Met Coach Jay, his family, wonderful family, and from there we just clicked. Yeah. And I met Funky Cold over at USM 2 years ago. Had the opportunity to spend a trip with him and some fellow classmates up in camp for extra credit.
Okay, I didn't even know that. All right.
Yeah. Listen, so we played 3-on-3, and this dude's in slippers, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, "I want you to guard me the whole game." He must have put up 15 on me in about 2 minutes.
With some slippers on?
Slippers
on, and just like he was just cooking. This dude couldn't miss if the hoop was this big. Dude was cooking.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then that's when I knew. I was like, all right, this dude's a baller. I was like, this dude, we don't have to stay linked because of that, man. This dude came out.
I had to.
He called me to guard him the whole game. He's like, I want you to guard me.
That's funny. Hey, big heart, Lewis. So Lewis kind of just introduced himself and how he met me. And yeah, it was just basically, he was at the rival high school, but the high schools are right in the same city. So, you know, everybody knows everybody, you know what I mean? And then, You know, inside the lines, there's a lot of hate, I guess, but outside the lines, there's a lot of love. You know, you'll find a lot of love where a lot of Portland cats mess with a lot of Deering cats and vice versa. And then you just have some where some Portland cats don't mess with Deering cats and vice versa. But
definitely,
you know, they kind of just, you know, a lot of the Portland cats realized how I was and who I was, and then I was about every kid in the city and not just the Deering kids. So that kind of just resonated. And so that was kind of that, man. And, you know, one thing I want to just give Lou a shout out with, man, is he's been in support of this Coffee Table Podcast since I basically came up with the idea. And he's just always shown love. He hasn't missed an episode. My man, he watches everything we say. He critiques. He gives.
Oh, don't worry. Hey, listen. After every episode, he gives me this is where you went wrong and this is where you went right. So I hear it too, man. It's not just
man. It's beautiful though, man. I like it though. I mean, I wish we had thousands like him that were on this, that were peeping, you know. But that's all right. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't. But this is just kind of.
Listen. Lou's on the show now, so this show about to blow up, Coach.
You already know. You already know. So, man, I just want to give you a shout out for that, man, for the support, big time, man.
Hey, Coach, quick thing. Are you in a different location right now? You're not downstairs, are you?
No, I'm not. The kids is downstairs playing video games, of course, so I didn't even want to go mess with their groove. So I'm up here in the kitchen. You know me, I naturally take the coffee table piece wherever I go, man, and just so I'm up here in the kitchen.
Coach Jay will get it anywhere. He'll get it in the garage, the car, anywhere.
Exactly. Wait. So time out. So if we hear screaming, does that mean that Ben's cooking Jay and some 2K or something?
Or Ben is moved to man. He's in Arizona, man.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. No.
So then who's the 2K king now at the house?
I guess, man, Clay will take the reins of that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe giving him them buckets. So every now and then Gabe gives him them buckets. So I don't give a damn about the games. You know what I mean?
I know. Hey, speaking of the game, speaking of your son game and everything, before we get into the NBA, I want to address one quick thing before we get to our RIPs real quick, and then we'll get back to this topic later. But I see you repping your Raider hat. Ever since I said Russ might be going there, I think you're repping the Raiders hard, dude. You want to see Russell Wilson and Sierra in Las Vegas, don't you?
Man, either way, man, I'd take Russ. You know what I mean? I still think we got the quarterback to do it. I think he gets a bum rap, man, and I think his numbers have proven that he's capable of doing it, man. I have no issue with Carr. Like, Carr's not the reason that they've had this bad season. You know, he had maybe one bad game. He hasn't made any type of bonehead mistakes. You know, like fumble out of bounds in the end zone. He hasn't done any of that. I mean, his numbers spoke for themselves. So I wouldn't get rid of Carr. But for me to sit here and say that I wouldn't take a Russ Wilson, that'd be silly. I think he'd fit in well.
Carr gave those Chiefs the business.
Man,
Can't forget that.
both games.
Yeah.
Both games.
He did.
So,
he did. And
can't-
again, we know that the Raiders' problem is on the other end of the football.
Absolutely. Our defense is non-existent. Them cats be out there just stealing the check. That's all I like to say. They're out there stealing the check, man.
All right. Well, anyways, let's hop into our RIPs. I know, Coach, you have a personal one before we get into a more permanent one, but go ahead.
Yeah, man. Childhood friend of mine, man, that I grew up with from elementary school all the way through high school. His name was Kendall Harris. Just prayers to he and his family. He just recently passed. 46 years old, my age. So
46, hey, Coach, 46 years young. Y'all are still young, man.
46 years young. Yeah, and
awesome.
I'm not really quite sure cause of death, but I know it wasn't obviously it wasn't a tragic death where one of those where it was a violent nature or anything like that. I believe he passed in his sleep, but I don't know the full details. But I know throughout the past years he had been kind of having some medical issues. So rest in peace, man. I hope he's in a better place, and I hope he's I hope he's looking down on. I'm sure he's looking down on us, and just he's up there, got his wings. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to he and his family, let him know our prayers are with them, man. And rest in peace, Kendall Harris.
Yeah. Speaking of RIPs, quick RIP to, well, not quick, we'll spend a little bit of time on this, to former NFL wide receiver Vincent Jackson, who played for the Los Angeles and San Diego. I think it was San Diego. He only played when they were San Diego Chargers and Tampa Bay Bucks. Coach, he caused your team probably matchup nightmares year in, year out.
Fitz,
yeah. And from what I've seen online, he was one of those nice guys that everyone liked. No one hated him. And he was only 38 years old. He was found dead in Homewood Suites in a Homewood Suites in Brandon, Florida, near Tampa. Cause of death is unknown. If you guys have anything you want to say before I pull up the stats about his game, go ahead, Coach Lou.
Yeah. I'm sure that San Diego community is devastated. I bet you Phillip Rivers is devastated too, because I think they were pretty tight. So he was an AFC beast. He gave my team fits. You know how it is when you have those cats that are in your division. You just know who gets busy more than the average because you play them more than the average throughout the course of the year. So
right.
Rest in peace, Vincent Jackson, man.
Yeah, 3-time Pro Bowler too, by the way, in 09, 11, and 12. And Lou, anything you want to say? Are you good?
Yeah, he's a baller, man. It's tragic times. Definitely grew up watching him.
Yeah, I remember, and actually I pulled up his stats, just Coach asked me. So he played 155 games, 540 receptions, 9,080 yards, 57 touchdowns. But I think the most impressive stat that this man had was his yards per reception was 16.8 on his career.
Oh, first down and a half.
Yeah, first down and a half.
Okay.
And he did not have a single season where he did not average more than a first down per reception. A single season. I just want to throw that out there.
That he didn't what? Say it again.
There was not a single season in his career where he did not have more than 10 yards or less than 11.5 yards per reception. And that was his last season. He had 11.5 yards per reception. Besides that, it was always more.
Wow. You know what's crazy about that is I bet you how many other wide receivers can you find?
Not many. And actually in 2012, his first year on Tampa Bay, he had a league high 19.2 yards per reception. That's almost 2 first downs per reception.
Wow. So, man, Could he be Pro Bowl worthy with that particular
You
stat?
mean you mean Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame? Excuse me.
I think so. I think so. I mean, people are gonna say that they didn't see enough, blah blah blah, this and that. Yeah, I mean, he had Phillip Rivers throwing the ball for years, and then when he was on Tampa Bay, he had, I think, a couple of no-namers, and then caught the beginning of the Jameis train.
Yeah.
So, whatever you want to put on that, but I don't know. It's sad to see his passing. Great Hall of Fame player, and definitely someone that will be missed throughout the NBA community.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and NFL, sorry, community.
Speaking of which, rest in peace, Vincent Jackson. Lewis made sure that by the way, I'm bringing Lewis back into the fold. He made sure that he let me know that it is no longer the D League. It is the G League. Because I called it the D League last year.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was like, should I say something or not? I was like, nah, someone else might say something. But
You could have got me. I remember when it was the D League. I remember when it was the CBA.
it was the CBA before, huh?
Yeah, and Isaiah Thomas owned it for a while.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Not the young Isaiah.
By the way, another thing before we start the show that I would be remiss if I forgot to mention. And I know that Lou respects this player, and Coach, I know you do too. Shout out to Dame Dalla. His wife had their other kid last night, and they had twins. Dame's now a father of 3. Shout out Dame. His new kid, their new kids are born now, so he has his 3 kids now. Just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah. I knew he had twins a little while ago. So
But no, it's a very recent thing, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
He just had twins. He just had twins. What, a couple weeks ago?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And he already had the other kid,
Yes.
Junior.
Big brother.
And now he's a big brother.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, all right. I know the topic that everyone wants to hear me and Lou go on about is the NBA. So let's hop into it.
You gonna rookie watch first?
Yes, I do. Well, I got a rookie watch, but I mean, and I know Lou's probably gonna laugh at us, but our rookie watch coach is just gone. I don't even want to talk.
Yeah. Hey, at least, man, my guy that I picked is playing and dunking on cats. At least.
Who? Obi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dunk he had the other day on who was it?
Oh man, I don't know who he banged on, but I'm just happy he's actually playing. But dang.
And actually, our sleeper we'll talk about later on in the show, because talk about someone that's tearing it up in the G League. We need to get to that later, but we won't get to that now. But that's a later thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, rookie report again. We still got leader in points, rebounds, and assists is LaMelo Ball with 14.6 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. Halliburton is second in assists.
Creeping on him.
Third. What?
I said he's creeping on him.
Yep. Cole Anthony's third. Maladon's fourth. Quickly's fifth. Scoring, you got Anthony Edwards second. Halliburton third. Quickly fourth. Wiseman fifth. Rebounds, you got Wiseman second. Stewart third. Tate fourth. And Avdia fifth, which is kind of interesting. I just think that really, there's only one person that's going to win Rookie of the Year. It's LaMelo, but he's got to watch out because Halliburton's coming.
I agree.
And
LaMelo's done for the week.
Who?
LaMelo, the Hornets are done for the week. It's got canceled the coronavirus. So.
So Halliburton could catch up. Yeah, actually, speaking of that, the Spurs are also done for the week too. The Spurs 3 games are done for the week as well.
What happened? It just the corona got to them, or
they said there was health and safety measures. The Spurs, their next 3 games, I think one's the Hornets, one's the Cavs, and one's the Pacers or something. Their next 3 games canceled too.
Okay, so they got to find a time to make those up.
Yeah, which will be interesting to see how the NBA creeps that in, because, like, for example, those teams, like, let's say Charlotte sneaks into the playoffs, right? I wonder if they're going to make a week in between the regular season and the playoffs to make up games. But if that's the case, teams that didn't have to make up games are going to be much better rested than teams that didn't. Like teams that didn't get the chance to rest because they had to make up games because of the virus will be at a disadvantage down the stretch and into the playoffs. That's how I do it.
But it's working for them right now. I mean, they get a nice little some time off, and
yes, exactly. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. But anyways, so NBA. So obviously yesterday there was all those rumblings of, and I'll start off because you and I had an in-depth conversation about this 2 days ago and yesterday. So Toronto trying to make some moves in the East. There was rumblings they were going to get in Andre Drummond at first. I was down with that move because you guys know I'm kind of a Raptors guy. I'm a big Toronto guy. And more I thought about it, I wasn't okay with the move because they would have had to match salaries, and it would have either been getting, and they looked like they weren't going to get rid of Lowry, so it looked like they were going to have to get rid of Norman Powell. And I didn't think that was a good move to get rid of Norman Powell for Drummond. And Drummond's a great player, but he's not one of those players that his stats lead you to wins necessarily. Kind of like my guy that used to be turnovers that both you guys got me on. I don't think his stats lead to wins either, but I'll let Lou grill me on that later on. It's a whole different story. But I don't know. I just felt that because the thing was all the trade rumors had, guys like Powell going or OG Anunoby, and I think OG is just way too good to trade. So with Powell, and the other thing is Drummond's contract's up at the end of the year, and I don't see him re-signing in Toronto. So I think they would have lost him. And I know Lou's Celts are looking for a big man. And I actually have a question for you about your Celtics later, because you guys aren't up to the hottest of starts. That's a whole different story. And I just think that whoever the issue with Andre Drummond is that contract. And I think that that Toronto would have had to give up too much and it wouldn't have been worth it.
Lou, you want to go or you want me to go?
You do go. You can go.
I would not mind seeing Drummond make his way to either Toronto or the Celtics. I think either way, that could be a power move.
But see, the thing is I don't see him re-signing if he goes to Toronto. I see him re-signing if he goes to Boston.
Does Boston's got the money for it? Boston got the money for him, Lou?
They got that trade exemption. That's really about it.
Okay. See, for me, I could see him if Toronto brings a couple more pieces, I could see him going to Toronto and signing.
The only thing I said is this: the only way I think Toronto should get him is if you trade Kyle Lowry, because you and I talked about this, Coach. Lowry's probably gone at the end of the year. He's put his house up for sale.
Yeah.
Norman Powell's too. A lot of people don't realize how valuable Norman Powell is to that team. And I just don't think that Norm is worth trading personally. But
would you just slide Van Fleet right over to that point guard spot?
Right, but then who fills the shooting guard role is the question.
OG.
I prefer OG at the 3, though. OG's a 3, man. All right, so then, you know what? Here's my question for both of you, since I got 2 basketball minds, especially one in Lou. If you look at the Toronto Raptors roster right now, who would you build a team around if you could pick one player from that team?
Siakam for me.
It would have to be both Siakam and Fred.
Freddie, yeah.
I'm a big Freddie guy.
There, man.
I'm a big Freddie guy. I think he's good, and I think he's one of those untouchable players on that team. And I actually think a player on the team that doesn't get enough respect, and I personally would start at the center, is Boucher. He's been balling, and he doesn't get a lot of respect.
He's tough.
And you put him and Siakam down low, that would change a lot. That would give teams a lot of problems because both of them are rebounders and blockers. But
Lou, what you think about something like a Kemba heading over there and Kyle Lowry going to you guys?
Signing off right now.
So
bring him over.
You know what? Time out. Now that we've got there, now that you brought up the Celtics, Coach, I actually do have a question for Lou. So I've had this conversation with a couple of Celtic fans. Kemba hasn't fit in Boston, and I think it's pretty obvious that Kemba hasn't been your guy. But here's my issue with Boston. I think Boston made a mistake in letting Terry go, especially once Kyrie left. When Kyrie left, that was your chance to give Terry his money, because in the last week, Terry Rozier's putting on a clinic in Charlotte. And I think that they should have kept Terry Rozier. And I'm still not sold on Marcus Smart, but that's me. I heard Marcus Smart hasn't had a great year, but.
Ooh. See, now,
here's tough.
Here's my thing with Beantown. Like, I feel like, obviously, we talked about the Drummond piece. Drummond would fit there.
But here's the problem. You have to make up $25 million in cap.
Yeah.
And who are you trading? And who are you trading? Because if you trade Kemba, the issue with trading Kemba is this. Peyton Pritchard's good, but I don't think he should be thrown into a starting lineup straight away. And I don't think Teague should be starting either.
No, I told you Peyton
Kemba,
Pritchard.
you don't have a point guard.
Peyton Pritchard, for me, is going to be a mainstay there, but he's going to be a mainstay there like a JJ Barrera. And some people look at me and shake their head and they think he's, think I'm disrespecting him. When I say JJ Barrera, I'm not.
You're talking about a 6-man. That's what you're saying.
That's a cat that, man, his career in the league, check his resume. Like,
He has a good resume.
Augustines of the world, man, they stay in the league forever, man, and they find a gig wherever. So I think Pritchard's one of those guys. But what I wouldn't mind seeing, and it's crazy because I love Kemba. I was the main one pushing. You remember, Lou, I was the main one before anyone was talking about that. And I don't think Kemba's the weak link as much as the fit just doesn't work with
It doesn't work.
with the two big guns they have. I felt you've heard me say time and time again, I would love to see them grab that man that had 40-something points last night for
Benjamin Simmons.
I'd love to see him grab that dude.
40 points in and out, though. In and out. Hey, I just want to make a quick point about the Sixers, and then I'll let you go. Embiid didn't play again. When Embiid doesn't play, that team can't win.
No,
and I don't know why that
is the MVP. That's why Embiid's my MVP right now. They can't win.
My MVP is someone else, but I'll get to that later. I think Embiid's 2 on my MVP, but I'll get to who my MVP is later.
So you've heard me talk about the Ben Simmons deal, and I'll probably bring that up anytime we talk. I would be making a play for him, and I'd be willing to get rid of a few of my guards as a result. Like, I'd be like, all right, Kemba, and then just, I'd probably do Kemba and probably do Teague, because Teague can play the 1 and 2 for them and do a lot for them. So I feel like that they could get some value out of that trade, and maybe a pick or two. You know what I mean? But I could also see Kemba going to Toronto. They'd be nasty. You get him over to Toronto.
Kemba would be a good fit there.
And you get Lowry over to Boston. And now you got Lowry at that 1, and then you're mixing and matching with freaking Marcus Smart. Who's bringing the ball up the court against them? Like, I mean, that's my whole thing. To me, I feel like the Boston Celtics, it's not scoring. It's defense with them right now. Like, and I don't mean like they're playing horrible defense, because they got great defenders on the wing. I don't think that they're playing horrible D, but I think they're losing their games based on defensive mishaps. So you bring someone that is really, really focused on defense at your point guard spot that doesn't need to average 20 points a game. Kyle Lowry can go 15 to 17 a game. And
Coach, you know why I'm laughing?
What's that?
You know why I'm laughing?
Why?
Because I just thought of the perfect point guard for them, but there's no way in heck that San Antonio is going to give him is DeJounte. That's the type of guy that they need.
I wouldn't want to trade him for Kemba at all.
Why? He's better than right now. He's playing better than Kemba right now.
And that system he is. He's
I
not
agree
playing,
with you on
he's
that.
not playing along with Brown and Tatum and all them either.
I agree with you on that, but anyways, but my point is he's a defensive minded guy.
I don't
like that Lowry, because if Lowry's having a bad night on offense, he's gonna get it back on defense for you.
That is true. Lowry's one of those. Lowry's a better P Bev. Lowry's a better P Bev. A much better P Bev. He'll lock you up, but he'll also score.
Yeah, he is so compatible with the Marcus Smart. Like, I don't think people really realize if all of a sudden Marcus Smart's coming off the bench and he's playing that 2 and he's playing the 1. Marcus Smart on any given night, man, he might hit 4 or 5 trays. He could miss 4 or 5 trays, but he may hit 4 or 5. Yeah. You put those 2 in the backcourt, that's a rough ride for the other guards, man, because them cats is flopping, playing D. They're doing everything out there. And then, like I said, the cats that got to shoot on that team is Jalen and Tatum. You know what I mean? So
I agree. Well, no, so that kind of goes back to my point that you guys are kind of answering. My question to Lou is I think the Celtics are 14-13 right now, 1 game above 500.
All right, I think they're 500.
13-13.
13-13 still. All right, and you guys play the Nuggets tonight, right?
Yeah.
That'll be a tough game. But so first of all, so 2 things. 1 is what's been your biggest issue this year, and 2 is this type of game against the Nuggets tonight is the type of game that you guys fear, because you're going up against my MVP, Jokic, and I don't know if you're gonna anyone to guard, but Lou. So
I feel like Boston's biggest problem right now is the 1 and the 5, easily. Proven stats is that one position is having trouble. With Kemba, without Kemba, they're having trouble. That all happens after Marcus Smart goes down. If you watch games before Marcus got hurt, he was leading the offense, doing it all for them, and they were winning. He goes down and they're struggling. And the 5 spot's been an issue for what, 3 to 4 or 5 years now.
Well, because some people in Boston think that Tice is the answer. I've been saying he isn't for years.
Tice is good.
Yeah, he comes
He
to
don't
play.
get the respect he deserves. He's good.
I agree.
But he makes some plays sometimes that
He's a good backup for me.
Yes.
right. But they're trying to use him too much as a starter, is my point.
They have to. They have
What's going on with Robert though? Why is he not
Time Lord.
sluggish.
I just, man, he's got the talent. He's got the athletic. I mean, I feel like your big men, you have the pieces. It's just, man, they got to show up. Tice plays, and Tristan Thompson, like that cat is an Energizer bunny. Like he plays, man. Like I can't never front on Tristan Thompson.
He does hoop. He does hoop. I'll give you that. Tristan Thompson hoops.
I think the coldest part for them, man, is in that guard play. And I don't think, like I said, I love Kemba. You need more of a dog on D, you know? I think you get someone that can lock that position up a little bit better, or just cause some static for them to be able to run the other point guard to run their offense.
Mm-hmm.
Boston wins five more games. You know what I mean? They're 7-8 games over 500 as far as I'm concerned. If that's the case. Right now, too, though, I'm gonna tell you what, 13-13 for them. I'm not tripping on Boston.
No, I'm not either. All I was saying is that right now they're kind of in a spot where they're not playing to what everyone thought they were. Like if you told most people, especially Boston fans, that they were going to be 500 after 26 games, they'd say that they disagree with that.
Well, man,
I wouldn't have agreed.
Boston fans are going to disagree with that no matter what. They can know they're going to be 0-800. They're going, nah, man, we're going to, that's just these fools. That's Lewis. That's how they are, man. Boston fans is crazy. But I can't front on Boston, man. Like I feel like if I'm a team in the East, I don't want no part of them in the first round.
No, I agree with you on that.
6 or 7, and I'm 3 or 2. I'm like, ain't this a blip? I'm not trying. I don't want to play them first round.
Right. No, and I agree with you. I think that they're a tough team to play, but I think that also. But I don't know if right now they have what it takes. Right now, I'm not saying they won't in 2 months. Right now, today, if they have what it takes to go to the finals, I think that they're missing a couple pieces, and I agree. And I think the trade deadline is March. It's in the middle of March because it got extended because of Corona. March
23rd.
What?
It's 23rd.
Yeah, it might be 23rd either. So basically, I think that the two big things they need to go for is a big man and a point guard. And I agree with you. And I think that a Drummond type could work, but at the same time,
they got to re-up him next year.
And
let him go.
And you can't. I don't think you definitely don't. I don't know. I don't know who
John
like
Collins too over in Atlanta.
Yeah, but Atlanta's hooping kind of though. You think Collins wants out?
He does. They want him. They want to trade him.
Really?
I forgot. But by the way, on the Andre Drummond thing,
give me Rondo back.
Boston fans love their Rondo. Hey, by the way, I think Rondo will finish his career in Boston. That's just my prediction. But quick thing about Andre Drummond, since we're on the topic, I don't know if you guys had heard this, but the Cavs actually said that they won't play him.
Yeah.
Until he's traded. Because they want to play Afro Samurai, Jared Allen. That's their guy now. That's who they want to start. They want to go the young route, which I don't blame them on because you got Darius Garland, you got Sexton, you got Okoro, you got I don't know who their power forward is right now, but you got it. Oh, Larry Nance Jr. when healthy. So they got a young core of players.
JaVale McGee, right?
What?
Yeah, I love JaVale McGee. I think it's pretty disrespectful to sit these players like that and be like, yeah, until we trade them. Like, what if they don't want to sit? Like, what if they're like, look, man.
Right, exactly. And
if I'm Blake Griffin, though, I want to sit.
Listen, okay, we'll get to Blake Griffin in a second, but this is my point back to the Cavs organization and what bothers me with the Cavs organization. And I don't know if Wes wants to chime in on this at some point, but it's Dan Gilbert, man. That's who Dan Gilbert is. And I just, Dan Gilbert is like, I'm not a big, huge fan of his. I never was, the way he treated LeBron when he left the first time, and then he wants him back, has him come back, and then he gets his ring. And we know that LeBron did that ring for the city, not for the organization. Right. He did it for the city of Cleveland because he didn't like the way that he was dogged over there. And I think that that's kind of been the thing is that's just kind of the way that organization is. But
yeah, definitely. I saw something on, I think it was the guy that played for Michigan. He hosts his own show on ESPN. Coach Jay, who is it?
Oh, Jalen Rose.
Rose. He was talking about how Silva, he don't like players like organizations setting their players either. And he said, don't be surprised you see Drummond getting traded within days or this week. So that hurts the league big time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silver wasn't happy about it, huh?
Yeah, he's not happy at all when that happens.
No, that's ridiculous, man. And the thing about it is Drummond has been balling. I mean, we're talking 2020 nights. I mean, his numbers are ridiculous right now.
And he's averaging 13.5 rebounds.
Yeah.
That's second to Clint Capella.
Yeah, that's going to get it. So there's a few different spots, but people seem to think that he's going to be going to New Jersey. And I don't
know. Well, bro, what does Brooklyn have left to trade?
I mean, Brooklyn.
What does Brooklyn have left to trade?
Right. Not a thing. He's not going there.
Unless they want to give him DeAndre Jordan has a pretty big deal. Maybe they could swindle some DeAndre Jordan and some picks for some stupid thing if they just want to.
They just picked up Andre Robertson too. That's a good pick.
I wanted to mention that. Thank you for
the dog on defense.
Where'd they get it?
Free agent.
He was a free agent, so that was a big pickup for Brooklyn. Huge, because that fits as part of their defense. What?
Who did he last play for?
Thunder.
Right?
Yeah.
Thunder.
And remember, he was always just a defense. That Andre Robertson is the definition of a defense-first player. He doesn't care if he scores 0 points.
Yeah.
If he locks up one of your best players, that's all he cares about.
That's who Brooklyn picked up?
Yeah.
That was vital.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. But anyways, so now on to the Blake Griffin piece. Oh. And I know that we want to talk because Coach, you and I talked about this last night. First of all, I saw a stat this year that said Blake Griffin has dunked the ball 0 times this year.
Since 2019, they're saying. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. So Blake Griffin's become a shooter. I think it has to do with his knees. I don't think he can get up that much. But put in the right system. And by the way, that's another guy that's sitting until he gets traded or until they figure out what to do with his contract.
His
makes sense. But first of all, I don't think he should have ever gone to Detroit. I think Steve Ballmer did him dirty. I don't know if you guys remember, first time he played LA, Ballmer tried to shake his hand and he ran right by him into the locker room. Like he wanted nothing to do with Ballmer because of the way that he got taken out there. And he basically got sent to the dumpster fire of an organization that is the Pistons right now. Let's be honest. Pistons haven't been that great. When was the last time? Finals was the last time that they were good? When they won the finals? Like a legitimate team? But when they had Chauncey and Rip and both Wallaces. But anyways, and I think he should have never gone to Detroit. I think he's in a Bradley Beal situation where he needs to get out of where he is. And I think where he should go is LA on the Lakers. I think he comes off the bench for the Lakers. I think that it's especially with AD being out 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's a good fit. Or 2 to 3 months, is it?
Weeks.
Sorry.
I'm not mad at that either. My situation with Blake is, and when I was talking about him earlier, it wasn't in a negative way. It's just like when I was saying he needs to sit. Like I was watching him run up the court the other day and just kind of running around, and I'm like, he's hurting. Like he's a hurting unit out there, man. Like, and he's obviously not the player that he once was. I mean, he can't leap like he used to, but he's hurt right now. So I think they should probably cut ties with him. Hey, in Ballmer's defense, whoever Ballmer talked to, he saw this coming. You know, like he had to let him go, I guess, because he was getting paid a lot. He's getting paid a lot of money this year. What's he getting paid right now this year? Like 30?
But I'll tell you something. It's a lot of cash.
Yes. And he's
a lot. I'll check right now, but it is a lot of cash.
Yeah, I don't want to say he's not worth it, but as a player right now, he's not worth it. Like he can't.
Wait. He's still on that Clippers contract, right?
Yeah.
So that Clippers contract when he signed it, which was I think 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No, because he was a free agent in 2022. Whenever he signed that contract, it was for 5 years and $171 million.
Yeah.
So he's getting his money.
Him a nice check. So
he's basically. Hold on, Hold on. He's making $34 million this year.
I thought so. I thought he was
$34 million.
So he doesn't. I mean, and that's the thing. So they let him go. He would right now. The Lakers could use him off the bench.
Well, the problem is right now it'd be starting because AD's in.
Can't start
80's
him. He's a liability on D right now.
But the question, so now my question is, with AD injured, who's starting for the Lakers?
Morris, and he's balling.
Yeah.
So Morris is their 5.
He's the 4.
So then who are they running at the 5? Oh, what's his
Oh, probably.
You
what?
got
Gasol, yeah, and I have no problem with that because Gasol's a hooper.
Yeah, you got Gasol, and don't sleep, man. You got what's his
Montrell.
name coming off the bench, man, grabbing the double for you.
Montrell.
Montreal Harrell, man.
Oh, I forgot that Montreal comes off the bench. Montreal comes off the bench.
They're gonna have to limit LBJ's minutes though, man, because he can't.
They got.
But
They
he's
got
playing
Kuzma
the
right now,
lowest
too.
minutes of his career. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna
Kuzma.
play 100 minutes in that Nets game. When do they play?
Who? Lakers Nets?
The Lakers and the Nets.
Did they play tonight?
Nah, Nets
Thursday.
got Phoenix.
Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday? Oh, and they play the Nets.
It'd be nice for LeBron to get a dub against them.
I mean, see, the problem is if they don't get a dub against them, the LeBron haters are going to be like, well, there you go. Lakers can't beat the Nets, forgetting that Davis is injured, because that's just how the LeBron haters are. Let's be real.
It doesn't matter. I mean, KD's not playing in that game either. So
KD's out again?
They're not.
for 2 games.
He just came back though.
Yeah, he has a hammy issue.
Hey, okay, so then here's my question. Do the Suns, with no KD, do the Suns beat the Nets tonight? Because Booker's balling.
Woo! What time do they play?
10:30. You're gonna have to stay up, coach. That's the late game. It's in Phoenix because
That one I want to see.
Booker is hooping right now.
Man, not just Booker, man. The general was out
The
there.
Suns are 17-9. I think a lot of people don't realize the Phoenix Suns are 4th in the West right now. And by the way, not only that, they are tied with the Utah Jazz for the hottest team in basketball because they are on a 6-game win streak. Jazz are on an 8-game win streak, and they're 9-1 in their last 10. Phoenix is hooping.
Yeah. And
And I'm pretty sure they beat Philly too. What?
We knew they were going to have these hooping moments.
Yeah, they're hooping right now. They're hooping.
Ain't nobody hooping like Utah though.
No, Utah is balling. By the way, shout out Jordan Clarkson. 40 points last night off the bench.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah,
the bench. And
some of that Lou Will, some of that lemon pepper Lou.
Lemon Pepper
Lemon
Lou.
came out.
Lemon
and got
Pepper
busy
Lou
with
minus
Lou.
8. Minus the sneaking out late at night. Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah, you be mad at Lou, you know?
But listen,
He got the name of a champion though, right, Lou?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
but no, I think that
We still on the
what?
basketball tip. We got anything else basketball wise we want to?
I do actually. I have plenty, coach. You know me. I come prepared. Hold on. We go to my
Let's fall back on that little
I
Brooklyn
have-
real quick. That
Huh?
Brooklyn Phoenix game.
Which
What?
one?
That Brooklyn Phoenix game tonight. You
Yeah.
got.
I have Phoenix winning that game.
I need to hear Coach J's opinion on Kyrie giving Harden the keys at point.
Ooh.
Smartest move Kyrie's made in a long time. Kyrie is a two.
Kyrie has turned a page this year. I think he's turned. Like he had that whole thing with the George Floyd house, but first of all, Kyrie's hooping, and I think that Kyrie's just focused right now on winning. He
I
wants to
can't
prove that
really
he can win.
give Kyrie too much because I know if I do, then something crazy is going to happen. You always kind of wait for the shoe to drop with him. Shout out to him for taking care of George Floyd. I give him his props for that. I think the way he left his team was whack. Do I think he could have left his team in that situation? Yeah, but there's a different way he could have went about doing it. Didn't think he did that right. No matter what he had going on, be a professional. So I have an issue with that. But there's I have a lot of little issues with Kyrie and the way he handles certain things. But I just think sometimes he just tries to do too much. I think he just tries to outsmart everybody, and it's just like, man, you ain't got to do all that. Now the hooper, he hoops, man. He hoops. Is
Top point guard in the NBA, in my opinion.
Weakness in his game is his defense.
Okay.
But he hoops. And so when he said that he gave the keys to Harden, Roman, you and I had that conversation before, and I was like, man, you need to go ahead and just make James Harden the point guard. Because
and let Kyrie be shooting
he
it.
can play the 1 or the 2. And when Harden's not in the game, just give the point guard spot to Kyrie. Perfect. That was the smartest thing Kyrie said, man, was I just said I'll be the shooting guard because he is a shooting guard. So, and then Harden, he's ball dominant anyways, but Harden is a much better facilitator than Kyrie has ever been in Kyrie's entire career. So despite Harden having, ISO on the ball for 20 seconds, you know what I mean? So now his game is totally different, man. Now he'll ISO the ball for maybe 10, 15 seconds, but he's getting in the cup, dropping the ball off. He's one of the best passers in the game. And like I said, I don't ever want to see him win a championship after how he did Houston. But if he does, man, I salute, man. You did your thing, man. I can't hate on him in that sense. I hate on him, but I can't hate on him as a player, especially making the adjustments that he needs to make for this team. Like, man, he's okay with shooting 10, 12 times a game if that's going to get him the dub. And that, I got to give him his props on.
Yeah. All right. So quick couple NBA things, and then I have a couple NFL questions for both of you guys, and then we'll wrap up. But in terms of NBA, I said we would get back to this, and we're going to. Coach and I's sleeper for Rookie of the Year, Malachi Flynn, who's on Toronto. The only reason he hasn't been getting minutes is Toronto's guard heavy. They got Lowry, they got Freddie, they got Norm. OG sometimes plays the two. They got TD, Terrence Davis. They got the Japanese guy, Utah, that they've been throwing in there every once in a while. But Malachi Flynn goes down to the G League, and he starts hooping. Last night, he played the Warriors G League team, and he dropped 35 points.
Wow.
8 Stocktons, and 7 boards.
Woo! He had 7 Rodmans.
7 Rodmans.
Woo!
Yes. 35, 8, and 7.
Hey, because I watched him play the game before, and that was the night before, right?
And he balled too, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought they said the first 2 games, one game he had 25 and something. That a game I saw him, I didn't get to watch him too much, and I didn't feel like he was doing bad, but I didn't feel like he was really dominating. But man, you said he had
35, 8, and 7. That's dominating, Coach.
Yeah, he's getting ready to be right back, get the call up.
Yeah, he's getting there. And next thing we wanted to address.
Hold on. If I'm other teams in the league, Funky Cole, I might be trying to inquire about him.
Hey, you know where he'd fit? Beantown. I think he'd be good in Beantown, but I don't want him to go to Beantown.
But guard heavy, man. We're talking about,
True.
Guard heavy situation.
Then who do you think could use him? Oh, I got it.
You gonna say were you about to say? Indiana?
Nope. I'm gonna say the number 1 team in the league right now, record-wise, doesn't really have a point guard. Let Spider run the 2 and bring Malachi Flynn as their point guard in Utah.
They got Conley coming back. Conley will be back.
They got Conley. They got the OG as a point guard.
But Conley's getting old. 2-3 years from now, you need a young cat in there. And I like Conley, but I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of young point guards, Coach, the early game tonight is Grizzlies Pelicans, and that'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah,
we're talking Ja Morant, who's one of my favorite rookies, or one of my favorite young guys.
When he came in the league, I wanted the Suns to get that second pick because I just knew they were just missing a point guard. Now they
imagine John Booker right now. Damn.
Yeah, now they got the general though.
Paul's a better fit than Ja over there, I think.
I agree. All right, the next stat line I want to talk about, we actually talked about before the show started, and that's one, Julius Randle. Last night, put up 44 points, 9 Rodmans.
Last night?
44 points, 9 Rodmans, 5 Stocktons, and get this, on 7 for 13 from downtown.
Are you sure he had 44 last night?
He had 44.
They played they played
the Hawks.
He dropped 44.
44, 9 and 5 on 7 to 13 shooting from beyond the arc. Comments?
He's averaging more points than Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns this year. More rebounds than Embiid and Bam. More assists than Drew Holiday and Donovan Mitchell. And shooting the 3 better than Buddy Hield and Dame Dollar.
He's an all-star.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 things I need to say. 1, actually 3 things I need to say. 1, maybe the Lakers should have kept Julius. 2, most improved player of the year candidate.
Yeah.
Easily.
3, Stephen A. Smith needs to apologize for when they didn't get KD and Kyrie and went off about getting Julius Randle.
Yeah, he would disrespected him.
And now he's hooping.
Julius Randle also Julius Randle has his team in the 6th spot.
Yeah.
And it's the New
Who would
York
have thought
Knicks.
that?
And it's the New York Knicks.
Who would have thought that?
Yo, the Knicks aren't bad, man. They got that Quigley at the guard,
He's
I like Emmanuel.
Barrett.
Quickly. I like Emmanuel Quickly.
top end. They're gonna be tough.
Yeah,
They are going to be.
but they're power forward heavy.
Then and they's got Rose back.
Yeah.
On other stat lines I want to mention from last night. So we have the Julius Randle stat line. We talked about the Clarkson stat line. The Ben Simmons stat line was impressive because it was 42 points, 12 assists, and 9 boards
Yeah, almost had a triple dub.
with 4 Hardens, though. But we'll get to Harden's stat line later.
Mhm.
Randall had that stat line. Here he is. Harden had 29, 14, and 13, but had 7 Hardens. That's why it's called Harden's, Lou, just so you know.
Though, man, when you got the ball in your hand the whole game.
I agree, but then to me, and then Kyrie
Tell
had
me his
40
plus
points.
minus that game.
Huh?
Tell me his plus minus that game.
I don't know. I haven't looked
Plus
at
33.
plus. All right, that's good. I'll give you that. Kyrie had 40 points though. This is my point about Kyrie: 40 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. But I think
He is a shooting guard.
he is a shooting guard. The stat line that I want to get to, and then I want to mention something that we talked about, and then I want to wrap up the NBA talk, is Jimmy Butler's stat line of 30, 10, and 10 with 1 turnover.
They lost last night though, didn't they?
They lost, but they were playing the Clippers. But they did lose.
The Clippers
Right.
didn't have none of their ballers either. Well, they had Sweet.
Okay, so Miami, Lou, coach and I spoke. This is how Miami solves their issues. Free agency, you go get Kyle Lowry, and you go get his buddy DeMar DeRozan. Cheap. You get both of them cheap, and Miami's going back to the finals, no question.
You ain't getting DeRozan cheap.
Get him cheaper.
Cheaper. That's what I mean by cheap. Cheaper than you would, because he wants to
pay
play
him
with
more
Kyle
than
Lowry.
that.
Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan are like this. If you get Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan's almost going to go.
Yeah,
they're
I think
both
they're
good.
set up to go wherever the other one's going. And that's their shot at a ring. Well, Kyle already got one, but he desperately wants DeMar to get one. So
Because the other option for them is the Clippers, but I don't know if the Clippers can afford both of them. And I don't know.
Miami afford both of them.
Miami can, because Miami's only big contracts Jimmy and Bam. They have Tyler and Duncan on their rookie contracts,
and they'll get rid of Duncan.
and they'll get rid of Duncan. The only one they want to keep is Tyler Herro, and they'll get rid of Dragic. Easy. They got Kendrick Nunn off the bench.
Dragic and Butler are tight.
They are, but if you tell Jimmy Butler that you can get him Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and have a chance at a ring, I don't think he's going to say no.
No, he loves dogs, and they're both dogs. So
That'd be tough.
they'd be real good down there. But you can't. The thing that's tough is this is probably both Kyle and DeMar's last shot at getting paid. You know what I mean? So they'd have to ask for a fair price. I'd be like, look, you don't need to break the bank for us, but we probably need about 12, 13 a year. You can see if they give them 2-year deals.
Yes. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna check to make sure I have no more content needed for the NBA, because if not, I want to hop over to.
Oh, can I ask a question though?
You
Since
can
we just brought up Julius Randle.
go right ahead.
Same type of player in regards to contributing to his squad, and deserves to also be an all-star this year. From
Who?
my home state of Washington, Zach LaVine.
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. That's what I wanted to mention. First of all, you mentioned Washington coach. So what does that mean?
Oh man, bring back our Sonics. Do it now.
Do it now.
Do
Like
it now.
thieves in the night, right?
hold off? Bring back our Sonics, man.
Like thieves in the night.
Man, that's how they took our team, just like straight thugs.
Listen, man, Zach LaVine is averaging 28.2 points per game. That cannot go unnoticed.
No.
That cannot go unnoticed. But to my point about MVP, the reason why I think Jokic should be MVP is because of his stat line. Yes, Embiid's averaging almost 30 a game. but Jokic is averaging 26.5, 8.7 assists. As a big man, he's averaging 8.7 assists. The only people averaging more than him are Harden, Doncic, Westbrook, and Trey. That's it.
That's impressive.
And he's 11.5 rebounds. Oh, and on top of that, 1.5 steals. That means he is the only player top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals in the entire league. And he's a big man.
That's impressive. The reason I can't give him the nod over Embiid right now is
right. But give him time. Give them time. I think.
Yeah, because they're what's name got 10 they got 10 L's on their record now.
Yeah. And the other thing is this. Tonight, and I'm sorry, Lou, but I think Denver gets the win because your team's two biggest weak points are the two best positions for Denver with Jamal and Jokic. And that's going to be tough for the Seas tonight. I think
Jamal hasn't really done anything since the bubble, to be honest, this year.
Yeah, he's had a couple games have been pretty big.
But Jokic, though, like who on the Celtics can guard Jokic?
Say it again.
Who on the Celtics can guard Jokic?
Put in Rob, Big Rob.
No, I'd put in Taco first. By the way, did you guys see what's his name? Denny Avdia tried to dunk on Taco. Did anyone see that?
No.
He tried to dunk on Taco and he got rim stuffed because he saw Taco's long arms and he freaked out. He tried to dunk on Taco. That was pretty crazy.
Taco.
But anyways, I want to switch over to the NFL quickly. I know the season's over, but a couple of things I want to kind of pick your guys' brains at is this. So first of all, last night I was scrolling through Instagram and saw something interesting on Instagram. It said, pick the next team for J.J. Watt. And this is via the DraftKings Sportsbook. So it's a pretty good gambling thing to go off of. And I know we spoke about this in our group chat for the coffee table, Coach and Wes, and you guys said Tampa Bay. But believe it or not, Tampa Bay is 7th on this list of the most likely destinations for him to go. The top 5 destinations that people think he's going to go to, 5 is your Raiders, actually.
A lot of people, they've been talking about that in my Raider Nation.
4, what? Go ahead.
If we can get him there and we can get Sherman there, get a couple veterans like them there without breaking the bank, it could work. But I don't see him coming to us. Go ahead.
4th is your family's team, Seattle. That's another option they're talking about. 3 is Buffalo. Now I'm going to stop right here. If he goes to Buffalo, name a better defensive team in the league.
He has to be healthy.
He has to be healthy.
Yes.
I agree. Number 2 is the Packers because they're missing someone that can attack lines. The most likely team, according to DraftKings, for him to go there. And if he goes there, I think they're just disciplined away from winning a Super Bowl.
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
He'll want to go play with his brother.
You put him and TJ on opposite sides.
You can bank on that. I think that's
time out. His other brother also plays in the Steelers too. You would have all 3 on one team.
There's another Watt that plays for the Steelers.
Derek Watt's a fullback.
Yeah.
And he's on the Steelers. You put all 3 Watts on the same team.
Why not? Like I would if I was him. The organization's one of the best organizations ever in the history of the game.
They invented the Rooney Rule, right?
Make the right move and get a quarterback though, because
D-Hop though, D-Hop tweeted at him.
Who did?
D-Hop over in Arizona.
He hit him up.
He said, "Let's finish what we started." ...
Yeah.
And I could see him going to Arizona. And listen, I'm a huge Kyler Murray fan, but I'd love to see all 3, Deshaun, Hopkins, and Watt, all go to Arizona. And I'm a Murray guy, but. And then here's my second thing to pick your guys' brain at. It's one of those start, bench, cut things. These are your 3 quarterbacks: Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. Who are you starting? Who are you benching? Who are you cutting? And why? Lou, go first. Coach, go second. And I'll go.
Say the 3 one more time.
Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Big Ben Roethlisberger.
All healthy.
All healthy and in their prime.
I'm gonna give the start to Big Ben. Just because of what he's done. As much
The
I
Nets
don't
is
want to give
hard.
it to him. I do not want to give it to him, but I have to bench Eli for what he did to my Patriots.
And you're gonna cut Phillip. You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
cut
cut
Phillip
Phillip.
Rivers.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut him.
Coach.
Big Ben absolutely starts in his prime. There's no question. And I think it's a little personal for me with Eli. I mean, the only thing Eli did do that I appreciated is made sure the GOAT wasn't undefeated in the Super Bowls, pretty much. So that's one thing that I can only give him credit for. But I didn't like how he came in the league. I didn't like how he demanded where he wanted to go. So I'm cutting him and I'm keeping Phillip.
So I had the same thing as you. I had start Roethlisberger, cut Eli, and bench Phillip.
Yeah.
Personally, that's
mine's more on a personal tip for Eli. Like
Eli's
mine
a
is
champion though. I'm taking a champion.
Eli's a champion, but here's the thing, right? I'm thoroughly convinced you give Phillip the same help that Eli got, and Phillip gets a couple rings.
I can't agree with you there because man, that team where remember the year where
it was Antonio Gates and Vincent Jackson. Is that what you're talking about?
Celebration. You know how I used to do the crazy thing.
Who
played against the Pats?
Who?
And the Pats gave them that work.
Time out. Repeat. What are you talking about?
Do the crazy lights out thing. What was his name? He got in trouble for steroids. He used to do the lights out. What's that?
Junior Seau?
No, not Junior. Not Junior. Rest in peace. What you guys know who I'm talking about? I know Fresh West knows. Remember the cat that used to play for he played LB for him.
Oh, LaDainian Tomlinson.
No, he played RB for LaDainian.
LB, my bad.
This cat did. I can't remember his name.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Lights Out. He used to do the Lights Out.
Oh, Sean Merriam.
So I remember that year, man, they were all picked to go and hyped to go, and their squad was filthy.
Was that Phillip's fault?
He pulled up lame, man.
Did Rivers have LaDainian?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It was a year that they tried to get through the Patriots, and the Patriots gave them that work. It might have been that 03-04 back-to-back, one of them years, but they had a squad, and I'll never forget. And they were real brittle because the Patriots was out there doing the lights out after the game. They were selling, clowning because they could. They came in there and got that team. They shouldn't have beaten it. That team wasn't better than the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots weren't better than that team, but the Patriots were like, man, please. We're the Pats.
LaDainian was cold too.
Oh, you know what?
Favorite growing up.
Time out. Hold on. Now that I think about it, before we end this, trying to wrap this up, I actually want Lou's opinion on something. So, Lou, I know you watched the show because you said you watched this over week. You watched last week. So I'm sure you heard Coach and I react to that list I found of the top 20 quarterbacks of the 21st century.
Yep, I remember that.
Did you agree with anything that we said, disagree, or what?
I forget the names, but I like the top 10 at the end of it.
Definitely. So, right, because what we said that Kurt Warner shouldn't be 19.
Yeah, that's disrespect.
Definitely.
Kurt Warner was below guys like Carson Palmer, Matt Ryan, Alex Smith,
disrespect.
Joe Flacco, Tony Romo.
Definitely.
But no, I agree with you. Yeah, no, I wanted to see what you thought about that, but I do want to go back to that because after we ended the show, I thought of something and I was like, could you make the argument for Mike Vick as a top 10 quarterback of all time?
No.
Could you make the
I
argument?
couldn't.
No. Now, if you want to say top 10 most athletic quarterback, he's in the top 3.
Right.
But I can't give him the top 10 of all time. Like, that's blasphemy.
All right, Stephen A.
That's blasphemy.
I'll give you that. What's interesting is this is more directed towards you, Coach, but this page always posts very interesting posts, and they had best quarterbacks of all time. And I don't think this is in any specific order.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's in no specific order, but they listed certain players, and I want to know if you think anyone's missing. So they listed Tom Brady, and again, no order, but guys, they listed Tom Brady, obviously, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Joe Namath, Joe Flacco, Ken Anderson, Otto Graham, Big Ben, Warren Moon, Peyton Manning, Mark Brunell, Deshaun Watson apparently made this.
They have Mark Brunell in there?
Yes, and Deshaun Watson. and Patrick Mahomes and Phillip Rivers, John Elway, Kenny Stabler, Aaron Rodgers, Sid Luckman, Matt Stafford, Fran Tarkenton,
Washington, that cat.
Eli, Roger Staubach, Sammy Baugh, Donovan, Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Joe Montana, Jim Hart, and Kurt Warner. Anybody on that list that shouldn't be on that list?
Man, Mark Brunell shouldn't be on that list. And don't get it twisted. He's a Husky. He's a Washington Husky who, in my opinion, had the greatest college football team ever in 91. A lot of people don't want to agree with me on that, but that squad was ridiculous. They had Billy Joe Hobart and Mark Brunell on the same squad with Napoleon Kaufman, and their squad was ridiculous. But my struggle is Brunell was great. I mean, he was great as a college player, and he was a good pro. He wasn't a great quarterback by any stretch, in my opinion, in the pros. He's got to be off that list.
All right.
Some of the guys I don't recognize. I can't even front.
Yeah. Two more things I want to do for you guys. The first thing is this has a best player. This is a best player from the 21st century short list. And these are his AFC players, just so you guys know that there's no NFC player missing. This is his AFC best player of the 21st century. And then I want to go to this guy's MVP candidate shortlist for next year. So this guy's best players from the 21st century from the AFC are as follows, and in no order: Jason Taylor, Tom Brady, Darrelle Revis, Kyle Williams, who I believe is an O lineman for the Bills, Ray Lewis, Big Ben, Joe Thomas, Chad Johnson, Chris Johnson, J.J. Watt, Maurice Jones-Drew, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, your man Charles Woodson, Phillip Rivers, and Von Miller. Is anyone missing from that list, or anyone you're taking out?
There's a few I didn't even recognize.
Well, because Joe Thomas was a lineman and Kyle Williams were linemen. They were both offensive linemen.
I'm surprised Maurice Jones-Drew's on that list.
Really? Maurice Jones-Drew was a dog.
He was, but how long?
8 years.
How long was he a dog?
4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a running back, though. That's what you get out of. Okay, but your point is Chris Johnson was 6 years consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah. I mean, he's leaving some other running backs off there. He left Priest Holmes off there.
Well, no, remember that's AFC. Priest Holmes was NFC.
AFC. He played for the Priest Holmes played for the Kansas City.
You're right. You're right. Oh, I found this guy's NFC list, and I disagree very much so with his NFC list, because he has Witten and Ware, he has Dawkins, he has Ryan Kerrigan, he has Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers, he has AP, he has Urlacher, he has Megatron, he has Drew Brees, he has Rondé Barber, Luke Kuechly, Julio Jones, Russell Wilson, Aaron Donald, Patrick Willis, and Larry Fitzgerald.
No Frank Gore on either of those lists?
No Frank Gore on either one of those lists.
That's tough.
That's the first thing. Second thing is this. There's no Tiki Barber either.
His career, I don't know if he put in enough work for long enough. But that's me. Now his brother, on the other hand.
Rondé's on the list.
That makes sense. I mean, Rondé played a long time and showed and paid dividends for a long time. But man, these type of lists, we need to sit down at some point and just kind of, we need to make a show about that.
Oh no, I do. And no, so this will be the last one, because I want you guys' opinion on this, and because this came out 3 days ago. This is this pro football stuff on Instagram. If you guys want to look his stuff up, MVP candidates for 2021. This is his short list in order. I'll go from 8 to 1. Number 8, he has Christian McCaffrey.
For this year?
For upcoming 2021 season.
You mean 21, 22?
Next year's season, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey at 8. Justin Herbert at 7.
Wow, he's putting a lot on a young guy.
Matt Stafford at 6. Aaron Rodgers at 5. Russell Wilson at 4. Patrick Mahomes at 3. Deshaun Watson at 2. And Josh Allen at 1.
Whoa.
That's tough.
the particular order he's putting it in makes it tough. I mean, if he didn't put him in that order,
I think.
do you
Go
guys
ahead.
think a running back can't be an MVP anymore? Like they're really, really on the quarterbacks on the quarterback.
No. I think Christian McCaffrey is the exception because he gives you both.
Yes, that's true. At least they had Christian McCaffrey. But I mean, Henry
Bills
is
running back.
Henry's proven to be that.
But the issue, see, here's the thing, and I love Derrick Henry, but here's the thing. Derrick Henry will have some weeks where he doesn't do anything and he doesn't give you any receiving yards.
I guess I could see that, but that cat had $2,000 on the ground this year, man. Like,
I agree. But also, besides Matt Stafford, every single one of the quarterbacks on those lists gets you passing and rushing yards. So this guy's saying in terms of guys that are multi-purpose, that give you more than just one thing.
yeah.
Because notice Tom isn't on that list because Tom doesn't get you rushing yards. Tom gets you straight passing yards. Tom gets you Super Bowls. Tom gets you a little bit of avocado tequila down in Tampa Bay.
He's got Herbert on that list.
Herbert can run, and Herbert can ball.
Oh, I'm not taking nothing away from the kid, but that's to put him on that list.
I don't know. I think give Herbert, once the Aaron Rodgers, the Drew Brees, the Tom Brady's, the Big Bens of the world retire, and even the Matt Staffords, you could argue Herbert's going to be a top 5 quarterback.
I got to see. I mean,
Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Herbert's right there. Give or take a couple years.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, that's my point.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We got anything else, boss?
Hey, do you have anything? Do you have a keeping you on the know thing, coach?
I do. Keeping you up on game?
Yes, sir.
Let me put you guys up on some game right here real quick. So, did you guys know while sleeping, 1 man out of 8 snores and 1 out of 10 grind their teeth?
Damn.
Nah, I'd guess the snoring part, but the grinding the teeth.
I thought it would be a lot more than 1 man out of 8.
Yeah, definitely.
I figured damn near half.
Are y'all snorers or no?
What's that?
Are y'all snorers or no?
I do, but I don't snore in a regular. I don't think it's all about the position that you're sleeping in too.
That's what I've heard.
You know, like me and my wife, man, she'll snore, I'll snore, and all we got to do is tap each other and be like, babe, you're snoring. And then she knows she got to adjust. And I know I got to just move to a different position, and then usually we're not. So,
right.
But I think a lot of people are snorers just because that's how they end up sleeping, how they sleep. So I don't know.
1 out of 8. Dang. All right.
That's
Well,
not a lot.
that's not a lot, but still, I don't know. If you look at the fact that there's 7 billion people in the world, coach?
Yeah, I guess that's a lot of snores.
Hold on.
That's just men, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just men.
Yeah.
So out of 3, I don't know. That's interesting.
I wonder if there's both snorers and grinders.
That was my next question is, do you have people that are both?
And man, I'll tell you what, if I was a teeth grinder and a snorer, man, my wife would have already divorced me. You know what I'm saying? She would have to love the hell out of me. She'd probably move me to a different room. The teeth grinding is no joke. Man, I used to work at a mental health hospital.
Hey, coach, she'd put you on the couch right next to the coffee table, man.
You already know. Hey, I used to work at a mental health hospital some years ago in Seattle. Actually, located in West Seattle, and we had a guy in there, man. He was in there, you know, he didn't need to be in the mental health hospital, but for whatever reason, they had us taking care of him. And he had like wet brain because he drank so much. He was a logger, and it was sad. He kind of drank himself into this, I don't want to say a vegetarian state because he can move around, but it was like dealing with a walking vegetable, you know what I mean? Like, and he would just kind of grunt and groan, but man, he would throughout the day just grind his teeth, and it would be like loud, like, you know what I'm saying? Like to a point where you're like, man, what is that noise? And they'd be like, that's his teeth. And then it was one of those cringe moments, man, you know? So the grinding the teeth is not nice. So
Yeah. All right. Well, that was your keeping you up on game, and that was
Yeah.
another episode of the Coffee Table Podcast. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming on very much. Appreciate you, brother.
Always,
Episode
always.
6. Hey, oh, you know what? Fresh West.
Bus.
There he is. Hey, I meant to, get our producer's word in here. Our producer has some harsh words about Deshaun Jackson. We didn't discuss that.
Wait, Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, Watson.
Fresh West thinks Fresh West. This is the first I've heard anyone say this.
Okay, go ahead. No, I want to hear him say it. Go ahead, Fresh. Say it.
I don't even remember how it came up, but we were talking about him, but he hasn't proved anything yet. I think he's
Oh
fraudulent.
yeah, that's what it was about the. Yes, I remember this now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't really get to holler at Fresh on that, but Fresh is not a fan. Fresh thinks he's kind of, he's overrated.
I disagree because I understand he fell apart against the Chiefs, but I blame his defense more than him. And I think he carried them against the Bills last year in the first round of the playoffs.
He ended up leading the league in yardage too, didn't he?
But if you're gonna get paid, you gotta finish those games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fresh West. Hey, that's gonna be.
I want him to get there.
Yeah. You just feel like they're putting a little too much on his name right now.
What about Rodgers?
Wait,
then?
hold on. No, I got a question
That's
for
what we're
Fresh.
talking about.
Fresh.
What's up,
So as a Browns fan, would you rather have Baker or Deshaun?
Baker?
Oh my God. You are crazy.
Wow. Hey, you know what? Fresh, we're gonna
Wow.
feature you a little bit next episode on the 7th episode, and we're gonna kick it off with the Deshaun Watson situation.
Wow. This dude just said
We heard it, but hey, you know what? That's why I love Fresh, man. He got it.
I see where he's coming from, though.
Baker
Yeah,
over
it's
Deshaun.
David.
In what world, Lewis? And no offense, Fresh. I love
Look
you.
at Rodgers. He's putting up numbers, but he can't do it in the playoffs. He's not finishing the playoffs.
Okay, but Baker and Deshaun have both made it the same distance. They
It all
both
happens.
made
It
it past
all
that
matters in the playoffs.
Hey, all I can say is dance, puppets, dance. Hey, Fresh West, thank you for just giving us a hot topic for Sunday, because we're definitely going to talk about it on Sunday.
Perfect.
Reach out to my guy Mike Wells.
Yes, Mike Wells is coming on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to. But hold on, I had a hot topic as well that I completely forgot about now.
That's all right. Remember it that for Sunday, man. We're looking at getting another episode in on Sunday. Hopefully having my guy Mike Wells. We've been talking. I know
And yes, Mike Wells will come in.
beat writer for the Colts and the beat writer for the Indiana Pacers.
So y'all know I'm gonna come with questions because I got questions for him
Yes.
for
So
both Colts and Pacers regarding.
yes,
That'll
he's
be
very,
big.
very tight with Sekou Smith. And so we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff with him. I'm hoping to get him on Sunday. It looks like he's going to be available.
That might be a coach. That might be a Dave Jones type episode. That might be another one of those where we have to do a twofer, cut it in half.
I
Coach,
agree.
you need to get that guy on that came to the gridiron camp, the football player. I forget his name.
Quentin Porter.
Nah, it wasn't Porter. It was the guy that played with Ray Lewis.
Oh, no, he didn't play with Ray. He played with Ed Reed.
Who?
Oh, he did play with Ray.
Who?
Yeah, remember the story he said about in the cafeteria when he came
Mike?
over?
Yeah.
Coach Mike?
No. His name is my guy's name is Kendrick. Yeah. It's so funny. The story.
Valentine,
I
right?
do need to get Kendrick on here. You're
Kendrick
100%
who?
right. What's that?
Kendrick who?
Valentine.
Yeah, Kendrick Valentine.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I will get Kendrick on here, man. That's my guy, man. I'll never forget. Quick, I'll bring this up when we get him on. But I remember my wife was like, man. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get Kendrick Valentine, because my boy Nick Clee, shout out to Red Zone, the Red Zone little football academy too, by the way. My boy Nick Cleach, when we first started my football camp, I was like, man, I need some people. He's like, man, I know a few cats, and he knew this cat named Kendrick Valentine. And I'm naturally thinking he's black. You know what I'm saying? I don't know no white dude.
And he ain't?
You know what I mean? And the last name Valentine, I'm thinking, no way. So then my wife is like, oh, well, you know what? Kendrick, what is Kendrick white? And I'm like, man, please. No way Kendrick's white, you know?
And he was.
And Kendrick showed up to talk to my kids, and man, and he was of Caucasian descent. And I was like, Can never judge a dude by his name, man. You know. So
Hey, speaking
Love
of hot
you,
takes,
kid.
hey, speaking of things real quick, I didn't remember the hot take I wanted to say, but I remember a hot take I heard last week coming out of the mouth of the hot take man himself, Max Kellerman.
no, Jesus. Oh, I
Did y'all
don't care.
hear what he said last week when they were talking about the Nets?
Yeah.
Who we said was the key piece to the Nets?
Yes.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah. Hey, that's like when he said, I'm picking
Iguodala.
I love Max, man. That's one of
Dude,
my
I remember when he said that, the camera zoomed in on Stephen A's face and he was like, "What?"
Hey, Max Kellerman is one of my favorite analysts, man.
Oh my God.
He clowns around, man, but he knows his stuff, and I be liking his takes sometimes.
Hey, I did not listen. I did not like that Iguodala tape, but when he said that's like the most famous take that he's ever said. That and the Tom Brady cliff theory thing.
Yeah, man. But I love me some Max, man. And don't ever try to talk to him about boxing, because he'll wrap circles around you in boxing.
He's a really good. He knows his stuff about boxing.
Anyways, we are definitely coming back to Fresh West in his situation next week.
Oh, you know what, Fresh? Now that I've heard you say that, I'm gonna bring up numbers next week because that kind of annoys me a little bit.
I like it, Fresh West. Like it. Hey, so anyways, man, that concludes episode 6. Man, Louis Gaddis, thank you, bro, for coming
Thank
on.
you,
Man,
bro.
we'll have
Got
you on
you.
again
Our
for
pleasure.
We will definitely have you on again. So we'll have Mike Wells next week. We're looking at we know we got some other people we want to get on in the future too. Coach and I have talked. We got a lot of people, but thank you for another episode of the Coffee Table Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Love everybody. Signing off.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Peace.